Week 3, baby! Week 3, weekly content. What's going on, fellas? It's me, Sardonic. I'm back at the table, again, as usual. This week I got something real special. I'm doing what I'm calling the dirt cheap server build. Server, parts, we're gonna build it. That's the video. This is gonna be something of a guide on how to do this yourself, but also, not really. Because I'm no professional and I don't know your specific use case that you want. I'm just going to make some general recommendations. There's a couple platforms you can use for this that you can get relatively cheaply. This particular unit is the HP ProLiant ML380 G6. This can be used as a tower, this can be rack mounted, whatever you want. 2 CPUs, it can hold 144 gigs of RAM, I believe. So it's pretty good for what I paid for it. I paid $35 for this one, but good luck finding one that cheap. A typical bare bones unit of this machine can run you like 120 bucks. It's relatively quiet as servers go, but it's not, knocked to a quiet, you know what I mean? There's other platforms you can use, particularly the Dell PowerEdge R710 if you wanted something rack mounted, or the T710 if you wanted something tower form factor. The T710s are kind of hard to find though. Another option you have if you want something that's strictly a tower is the Dell Precision series, the T7500, 7600, and the 7800 are all pretty good. If you want to stick to something cheap though, go for the 7500, which is based on the same platform that this is, which is the Westmere architecture of the Xeon platform, which came out around 2009, 2010, which, all things considered, the CPUs aren't as bad as you would think. More things about this particular unit and why I got it so cheap. I think one of the driving forces is that it was a Canadian seller, but they did ship internationally, so it just took a little longer to ship because it did have to cross the border. A good tip if you're looking on eBay and you want to find a good deal, and this goes for anything, not just server stuff, you either filter by buy it now, new listings, or by all listings ending soonest. With ending soonest, you can find some gems, and I've gotten two good machines this way. I got this machine, which had 0 bids at the time I bought it, and it was up for about 35 bucks US, about 45 Canadian was how it was transferred over. And my Lenovo ThinkPad T420 I got in an auction that had 0 bidders for 60 bucks. Both really good gems for the price. Another thing I think went into the pricing is this machine, it's really low spec'd and it's kind of in bad shape, really. This door here, this opens, but one of the little latches that keeps it closed is broken. There's also a key that's supposed to lock this shut, but the actual stem of the key is broken off in here. Thankfully, it is stuck in the open position. Same goes for this latch. There's supposed to be a key, but the key is broken off in this lock. Thankfully, again, it is stuck in the unlocked position. Just an update, I stepped away from the camera for like 2 seconds, and the other latch that kept this front panel closed broke. These are just little plastic flimsy inserts, so I could probably find replacements. I'm not all too broken up about it, though. I'll just have to improvise and find a way to keep it closed. I could probably duct tape it or something. Also, a fun fact about this particular unit, it has a sticker on the front with the specs listed exactly how I found it, with a price tag of $650. Whoever sold this to me was planning on selling it to some poor schmuck for 650 bucks, which, even after I put all these parts into it, it's still not going to be worth 650 bucks. But it was a Canadian retailer, so that's 650 Canadian, so that's like $25 US. So before I start installing stuff, a little bit about the parts I chose and why. These are 2 CPUs. These are Intel Xeon X 5650s. These are 6-core 12-thread processors. The reason I chose these is, one, because I already had them, and they're the best performance per dollar in this generation that you can get. You can get a matched pair of these for like 25 bucks. But going much higher than that, you get your 5670s, 80s, and 90s, which tend to be a lot more expensive. This is another heatsink, just because this machine only came with one and I have 2 CPUs. This was 20 bucks. Here's an extra fan, optional, but I wanted the extra airflow because there's no fan here to cool this CPU in particular. Again, optional, but it's better to have it than to not. I have 2 of these boxes, and in each one of these is 2 drive sleds. This one only included the blank slots that you get in non-populated drive slots, which I didn't realize until I actually opened this machine up. That was not in the listing, but I'm not going to complain about it because I don't really care. These, I want to say, were 20 bucks. I'm not 100% sure though, so don't quote me on that. I will put the actual price on screen though. And finally, in this box over here is 4 2.5-inch 10,000 RPM SAS drives. Now, with servers, there's a few different drive standards, but mainly you're going to get SATA and SAS. If you're lucky, you'll get a machine that supports both, but some machines, I think this one included, I'm not 100% sure, only support SAS. These generally spin at a faster RPM, anywhere from 10 to 15,000 instead of 7,500, and they tend to be more reliable. You can get these for 15 or 16 bucks a piece. I bought 4 of them, 600 gigs each. Now here's where I put a bit of an asterisk on what I just said. If you're gonna buy this to be a machine that you want to be 100% reliable, you're putting a ton of important files on here, don't buy used drives because you don't know the life they've lived before they got to you. So if this is like a mission critical computer, don't buy used drives. That's where you would want to get something that supports SATA, because brand new SAS drives are like $100 a piece for these 600 gig ones. But for the purposes that I'm using this for, this isn't just a throwaway machine that I'm making for a video. This is a machine I'm actually going to use. But the purposes I'm using it for, the reliability doesn't matter too much. I am putting files on here as a NAS, but they're not that important, number one, and they're also on my computer. This is just a backup. So, and it's unlikely that this will fail and my computer will fail at the same exact time. So I don't really have too many issues with it. Finally, I have this RAM. I have 24 total sticks of this. I'm going to be using 12. This is the Dell branded SK Hynix DDR3 ECC RAM. You can get 64 gigs of RAM, I don't know, for like less than $100, 80 bucks maybe, and that's 8x8. Or, you know, you can get, I think this has 18 RAM slots, so I think I paid $260 for 24 sticks of this, although some of the sticks were dead, so keep that in mind. Not dead on arrival, but they died shortly after their arrival. Time for some N-Dust. Electronics duster with a weirdly short straw for some reason. This dust, it smells like something, it smells like I've just agitated something that's been sitting in an old musty basement for like 6 months. So, take that as you will. I do know this machine works though. Alright, I got the CPUs in, I'm about to put the heatsink back on. These are a bit weird, these heat sinks. Not sure if I like this mounting mechanism a lot. No, I'm not a huge fan of it. Okay, the CPUs are mounted. I'm going to put the RAM in. I'm reading the guide that's actually in the side panel of this thing, because it's kind of a complicated solution. But, you know, here we go. Now that I'm like 60% sure that I installed the RAM correctly, I'm going to put the fans back in and just verify that I did it correctly. Okay, so the CPUs and heat sinks are in, the RAM is in, the fans are in, the disks are not though. I just want to make sure I configured this the right way. in terms of the RAM, because it is a bit strange. So we have a post screen, splash screen, and apparently it's doing power and thermal calibration. Whatever the hell that means. I will be putting the rest of that RAM back in the machine. I'm just too lazy to troubleshoot it right this second. So, truth be told, if you just wanted network-attached storage, a Raspberry Pi and an external hard drive is a good option for most people. It's cheap, and, you know, it's good enough. But some people want to upgrade, which is fine. You can use an old computer. Anything that attaches to a network can be network-attached storage. You can use an old computer, and that would be fine too. But this is a full-fat server. This is meant to be run 24/7. So, you know, it's just more of a professional look. There's more features to this, like remote management in the form of HP ILO. There's two network interfaces here. So there's just more. You get more options with this. I'm not going to go too much into configuring this machine because that's not what this video is about. So that's kind of my piece. This video was only about the hardware side of this, and this whole build was put together for this much money. I'm going to put it on screen because I didn't calculate it. If you enjoyed this video, do all the normal YouTube stuff, you know, like, subscribe, all that jazz. And check out my weekly podcast. There will be a link in the description. Okay, goodbye now.